The Volkswagen Vento is one of those cars that's earned a reputation in the Indian car market for playing the long game. It's been around for a decade now in this very guise, and in that time, it's got a whole host of updates in terms of its appearance and its feature list, with the most recent one coming last year where Volkswagen added a few new features as well as a new 1-litre TSI petrol motor. We recently reviewed the manual transmission version and now here's the automatic. But wait, there's more. This time around, we're going to tell you 5 things that we liked about the Volkswagen Vento TSI Automatic and 2 things that we didn't. In the era of BS6, Volkswagen decided to cull the Vento's entire previous engine lineup in favor of turbocharging and direct injection, which in the case of this car is a 1-litre 3-cylinder unit producing 109 bhp and 175 Nm of torque. You can have it with either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed torque converter automatic, which is what we're driving today. Put the car into D, ease off the brake, and the creep function lets you roll forward with surprising ease. Let the needle go past the 2000 RPM mark and you will be greeted with a surprising wave of torque that's linear and unrelenting all the way to the red line. You will hit 3-digit speeds quickly, a rather helpful feeling on the highway or even when you need to make your way around slow-moving traffic. Of course, it's not the most perfect system, as when you go hard on the gas, there's a little bit of lag before the powertrain drops a gear or two and gives you the surge in momentum that you need. What's more, there's a sports mode where the revs are held a little longer, allowing for a better build-up of speed. But wait, we are not done. If you want a more involving driving experience, you can even switch over to the manual mode and use the Tiptronic function to control the shift yourself, with even the option of engine braking if you need it. However, this is also a gearbox of dual personalities. Combined with this engine, its strength lies in a strong mid-range with not much effort required to be in the thick of the action. In city conditions where progress is slow, it's best to leave the gearbox in D and let it do its thing in the background, which it does with good precision and refinement. Even a light flex on the throttle will give you sufficient punch for quick overtakes. As we said before, the creep function is pretty strong, which means that you need to be a bit cautious while inching forward in bumper-to-bumper traffic or tight parking lots. In terms of the 1-litre TSI unit, it's not particularly refined engine, and during idle, you can hear and feel the thrum associated with 3-pot motors. On the go, it is quite vocal if you rev it hard, but with so much action available so easily and constantly, you would be busier paying attention to the road rather than the engine note. Will you really miss the 7-speed DSG and 1.2-litre engine? Those of you that have driven the Vento TSI 80 in the past will be able to tell that the powertrain combination isn't as refined or smooth as its predecessor, but with a view to keeping costs down without dampening the driving experience, this is a worthy substitute. The entire Volkswagen Vento range is underpinned by McPherson struts in front and an independent trailing arm at the rear. This car that we are driving gets 16-inch wheels with 185 by 60 section tires. The ride quality is on the firmer side at low speeds, and this makes things noticeably bumpy if you are tackling bad roads. But go faster and the Vento comes into its own and takes everything in its path without much of a struggle. The smaller bumps and imperfections are done and dusted without sending much back into the cabin. The ground clearance is decent too, and despite the slightly low nose, even large speed breakers are not an obstacle if you need to make quick progress. In a market where SUV and SUV body styles are growing with fast demand every day, the kind of driving experience that a sedan offers is unparalleled. Among its competitors, the Volkswagen Vento has always been known as a driver's car. Volkswagen has managed to find a decent balance between comfort and handling. The steering has a certain heft to it, which feels reassuring, both when you are attacking corners or having to navigate your way around massive potholes, craters, and everything in between. It's quick and quite accurate for a car in this class and size, but like its sibling the Skoda Rapid, it needs 2 3/4 turns to go from lock to lock. This is something that becomes quite evident when you need to make U-turns or park in a really tight space. The firmer ride quality also means the car displays a good level of poise and composure if you want to drive enthusiastically. There is body roll, but it is quite predictable, and in this regard, it is best to plan your moves in advance and also take advantage of the 1-litre TSI unit's rev-happy nature to keep your pace constant. We told you at the start of this video that the Volkswagen Vento had been around for a decade now. Well, so has this exterior design, punctuated by updates over the era. The face is dominated by this double slat grille with the Volkswagen logo in the middle. You get this large bumper which is reminiscent of what was offered on the previous generation Polo GTI hot hatchback. You get these double barrel full LED headlamps with these nice LED DRLs running under them. The fog lamps are rectangular units housed in the big bumper. Finally, the bonnet has this little extra bulge on it just for that extra hint of sportiness. Move over to the side and you can see the 3-box silhouette of the Vento. Highlights here include this large chrome strip connecting both ends of the car, the door handles, these flared wheel arches for some extra sportiness, as well as these 16-inch wheels. We particularly like the design of the wheels, especially this fan-like structure, which looks really good when the car is in motion. Move over to the rear of the Volkswagen Vento TSI Automatic and you'll notice that there aren't many badges. In fact, you wouldn't even know this is an automatic unless you actually peeped inside the car. Highlights here include this lip spoiler, the large chrome strip running from end to end, these blacked out tail lamps with integrated LEDs that make an L pattern, and finally you'll notice that the rear bumper is angled slightly upwards for some extra sportiness. The Volkswagen Vento might be a slightly old car, but it's always had a reputation of being solidly built. Everything feels solidly built and well put together, befitting the adage of German build quality. One of the places where you can notice this is when you open and close the doors, both of which are achieved with a reassuring thud. Another place where you can notice this is the roof. It's been integrated with the pillars as one big unit. This is quite rare on cars in India and actually provides additional stability to the vehicle. First, let's go over the facts. The car that we are reviewing today is a top-of-the-line Highline Plus AT model. Its feature list includes the likes of climate control, touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, cruise control, rain sensing wipers, height adjustment for the driver's seat, rear AC vents, two 12-volt sockets, 1-litre bottle holders in the front doors, power windows and power mirrors, as well as auto-dimming internal rear view mirror. In this day and age, meeting the segment standard is no longer just an impressive achievement. The car misses features like cool seats, sunroof, button start, inbuilt connected car technology, full color TFT for the instrument cluster, ambient lighting, folding rear seats, and even cup holders in the rear armrest. This comes even more into focus when you look at how the Vento's competition has grown in terms of both sedans and SUVs. The cabin of the Volkswagen Vento has been trimmed out in this dual-tone scheme of black and beige. These are hard-wearing plastics on the dashboard, the center console, and the doors as well. And while these are actually feel really good, when you look at it against the competition, they do look dated. A saving grace for what is otherwise a very lackluster front part of the cabin are these glossy plastic inserts around the music system, around the gear lever, as well as in the steering. Another ergonomic oddity that we found is this front driver armrest. It does have a storage space in it, but it's positioned in such a way that it fouls with your arm when you're trying to access the handbrake and sometimes even the gear lever. However, it can be lifted out of place for complete access. The second row of the Volkswagen Vento has been trimmed out in the same beige and black combination as the front. Features here include a rear AC vent, a single cup holder, a 12-volt socket, the ability to slide the passenger seat forward and back from the back here, a center armrest. Space in terms of shoulder room and width is actually not quite bad. You can have two people sitting in decent comfort, but a third person will have a difficult time due to the way the AC vents are positioned, as well as a high transmission tunnel. The Vento was the first car that Volkswagen brought when it began operation in India just over a decade ago. It soldiered on with a lot of updates, and while that worked well for a while, it's starting to look aged, especially when you compare it against its competition. In what it is known for, driving dynamics and engine performance, it is still right up there. Call it, if you will, a driver's car. The Vento also still feels solidly built, backing up the term German build quality. However, when you look at the interiors and the feature list, the Vento's age starts to show. The quality of materials used in the cabin feels at least a generation behind when compared to the competition, and it matches all the basic requirements of the segment in terms of features, but really not much else. The Volkswagen Vento range is priced from Rs 10.32 lakh to Rs 15.54 lakh, the latter of which is the price of this Highline Plus automatic model that we have reviewed. All prices on road Delhi. For more details on the Volkswagen Vento range, do visit our website carwale.com.